Thank you very much. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Look, before I get started, I just want to try something, and you're welcome to sing along if you know the lyrics to this one, alright? This was a triumph, I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Hey, you knew the lyrics, right? You knew the lyrics. And why? Because video game music is different. Now, every generation of gamers has music that speaks to them. If I had gone out here and done, I don't know, exactly. It's music that has a purpose. It's what makes it different. It's music that sets a scene. It's music that introduces things like a boss or announces to a room that you've set a new high score. So, as was introduced, I am Matt Frequencies. I am a nerd who plays and makes nerd music for nerds. I have a specialty in video game music, a collection spanning Pac-Man to Pokemon, thousands of remixes, but a special passion for Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. In all of his forms. Okay, yes, I lied, the werewolf, alright, but the music was still good, alright? Now, I want to talk about how video game music is used to tell stories and how we convert memories to melodies. So, let's talk about the history of video game music to start with, okay? In the beginning, video game music was used to try and entice you to play it. It was short, sharp, memorable, and very repetitive. Why? Arcades. Think Pac-Man, right? Or perhaps Burger Time. Don't forget to get your prostate checked. Me too, by the way. But there are many, many other examples of catchy, easy to remember video game themes that span decades. Mortal Kombat, for instance. Okay? As video games started to move out of arcades and started to move into the home, we had a little bit more flexibility in how long we could run an intro for, or how long we could have a high score screen be, or how long our in-game melodies could be. As the tech improved, so did the music. A really good example of this is the Commodore 64 and a little-known game called Whizball. Anyone heard of it? Yeah. Martin Galway, household name in my house, maybe not in yours, but I hope you'll go look him up later. The intro note of the Whizball opening theme is one long-held, sustained chord that was inspired by Freddie Mercury and could have been played by the man himself. Now, as tech improved, 16-bit consoles entered the market, and suddenly we have Sega, Nintendo, and the great console wars of the 90s. Now, everybody knows that Genesis does what Nintendo don't. But the reality is that Nintendo actually had a better chip for processing things like violins. So, we had melodies of Mario in the home, in the living rooms of millions. Jazz. Very much jazz. Right? These slightly strange syncopated melodies, these broken beats. And Sonic the Hedgehog with his rock and roll inspired soundtracks, but also, funnily enough, very, very jazzy. Think about Chemical Plant Zone, or perhaps Casino Night Zone. Now, why do I mention jazz so much? Because video game music in the beginning was not video game music. Video game music was just music that was composed by jazz musicians. A lot of the original Japanese video games, console music, a lot of that early computer music was jazz music that was just repurposed. And as these consoles were developed, the composers discovered that they could produce like they were writing for a band. So you had these big band sort of instrumentations going on. You had guitars, violins, a trumpet, a sax, a drum kit. What sort of came forward from that is this very strong, very unusual type of music that is specific to video game. When you think video game music, often you're thinking these sort of strange melodies, these violins, all that sort of stuff going on. One of my favourite tracks in recent times is from Final Fantasy 15, the Chocobo theme. Anyone know? I want to ride my Chocobo all day. Now, fast forwarding a little bit, enter the Amiga. The Amiga personal computer, something that is lamented by me as being hideously, hideously mismanaged, was a possibility, a universe of possibilities for video game music creators to work with samples, actual recorded samples, not just like synthesized or wavetable generated sounds. Actual recorded trumpets, recorded pianos, violin, and vocals. And that made itself known in the incredible soundtracks of things like Lotus, Zool, Worms, Worms DC, and regrettably, none of those were good enough to beat Doom. Doom took the PC world by storm, and honestly, it didn't matter that the PC sound chip was terrible, it didn't matter that it only had 4 bits of memory, it didn't matter that trying to install a Sound Blaster 16 was an absolute nightmare, it didn't matter that most people heard the Doom soundtrack as literal bleeps and bloops on their PC speaker audio, it still took the world by storm. E1M1 is something I still play. Now, fast forward again to modern video game music. Had the Amiga managed to take hold, we would have seen this happen a lot sooner. But video game music is now generally composed in short chops, short sequences, that get mixed up depending on what's happening on screen, what the action in the game is. Are you in combat? Are you traversing? Are you looking into a boss battle? Good examples of games that have used this: Doom 2016, Untitled Goose Game, and the Grand Theft Auto series, among others. One of the big songs that you will know from Doom 2016 is The Only Thing They Fear Is You. However, that song doesn't exist in Doom in its current format that you can find on the OST or on YouTube. It only exists as short sections. It is not possible to play the entire 7 minutes of The Only Thing They Fear Is You in-game. Now, game music, mood. Game music is designed to set a mood. You know this. The thing about games is the music is serving the purpose of the music in silent films of the early 1900s. Okay? What the music is attempting to do is convey emotion. So you might have the relaxing early music of the Green Hill Zone, which you heard just before. Or you might have the Arabian melodies of a desert. Or the soaring feeling of being underwater. Or drowning. Sorry, did I give someone a heart attack? It can also convey entering a fight or flying through space against impossible odds, entering a machine city. Music in video games is music that is designed to help you battle, it is designed to help you command, conquer, to race, to strive, and to win. It is also music that helps you mourn, to remember, and to celebrate. And in my case, it is also music to help you party. I think video game music speaks to many of us on a personal level. It is a shared language that we have all experienced, because a lot of us grew up as loners, a lot of us as nerds were spending our time in the library, or spending a lot of our evenings on the computer at home, with these melodies. And as such, they have these experiences associated with them. You know, you might have some songs that you just can't stand, like the Marble Hill Zone theme out of Sonic 1, because you just kept dying on the bloody lava pools in the second area. Yes, that was me. Or maybe you like the GoldenEye 64 soundtrack, because it reminds you of time spent split screen playing with friends. One thing is common about all this though. Video game music is different than any other form of media, and I will stand on this. It is different to any other form of media because when video game music is playing, we are in control of the action. We are working to try and achieve something. We're working to try and overcome some complex task, or to try and finish a level, or to try and command our troops to beat the enemy, or perhaps we're trying to build our own civilization. We are in a learning mode. When we are experiencing video game music while we are playing, our minds are prepared to learn stuff. And as a result, the repetitive melodies, by design, stick in our head with the emotions that go with that process of learning. So, memories become melodies. And the repetition drives them deep into our head, so that the next time we hear them, those emotions come bubbling back up. I'm sure there would have been songs in that intro set that you related to, that you heard, and you went, oh my God, I remember doing that, I remember being there. Right? It takes you back to another time. I riff off of that. When I write stories using video game music, I take advantage of those emotional connections, because my intent is to bring a room together by connecting with video game music in a new context, creating a new story, a new memory to go with those melodies. So then the next time you hear those melodies, you go, damn, I remember when I was doing that. And that is an incredibly special feeling. Now, video game music is how I found my people. It's how I've ended up here today, standing talking to you lot. It's also how I've ended up connecting with ExtraLives, who are, well, Michael from ExtraLives is here, and he's going to be giving us one incredible adventure tonight, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So, since you're all here for a story and an adventure, I think I should hand over and let the story begin.
Thanks so much, Matt. The frequency of this show doesn't allow us questions.